Thank you for listening to this podcast from TRE, Talk Radio Europe, your voice in Spain and around the world. For more information, please visit tre.radio.
TRE in the afternoon. Presented by Hannah Murray.
Good afternoon. It's just gone 5:05. You're listening to Women Talk. With me in the studio today, Carmel Rogers, Anna Glowinski and Jan Humpage. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you all. When I write down the names, it's just like randomly how I write down the names, and sometimes people sit in the exact order that I've written them, and it always makes me smile. So that's what's happened today. You're sitting in the same place that I've written your names. If you're listening at home and you'd like to get involved, you're more than welcome. Here's how.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95.
What a beautiful day, it's a wonderful life.
Okay, I thought we'd start by talking a bit about Easter. It is Easter right now. It's a very religious time in Spain, lots of processions, as we know. And there was an article that I was a bit kind of surprised by, how Easter became the new Christmas. From decorating trees to pulling crackers, sending cards and a wreath on your door. Even a basket left out for the Easter bunny to fill. I kind of thought, what? I've never done any of those things. Is it just me? I mean, how do you celebrate Easter, if at all?
No. Go out for a couple of drinks with friends or dinner. That's what, Easter's about. It's time off work and a hot cross bun.
Yes.
And a nice Easter egg.
Lovely.
But not bothered. And I'll watch the odd procession, but to be honest, after 40 years here, I'm a bit processioned out.
You know what's happening.
You know what to expect. Yeah.
I like the one with the very hunky soldiers.
Nice.
I'm in quite a unique position actually this year, because just over a year ago my husband and I acquired a 6-year-old child, and we're sort of in this, it's very exciting, and we're kind of in this stage where we can start creating traditions and seeing it from a very new point of view. I think I would have said I was the same as you before. Easter would just pass me by, but obviously when I was a child my parents put traditions in place. I then became an adult, didn't really bother about it anymore, and now all of a sudden I'm quickly thinking, oh gosh, what can I do? How can I make this special? And how is this, what can I create that I can do it year on year on year, that it becoms our thing?
Yeah.
So any ideas or anything that was maybe special to you, throw them at me, because
Easter egg hunt.
An Easter egg sort of treasure hunt.
Yes, a treasure hunt.
Yeah, in the garden, put eggs.
the problem is they melt so quickly. I actually tried that last year, because you've been with us for a year and 2 months, and that was one of my first ideas, chocolate treasure egg hunt, but they melted within about 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So
You could do it around the house.
Yeah.
smart thinking,
Yeah.
like
Or
that.
you could hide something else, whether it's, I don't know, bits of paper or something, and everything they find represents an egg.
Yes.
Yes.
You could hide something that doesn't melt, like a piece of Lego, or I don't know, anything that you can hide that's small, that doesn't melt.
Very creative.
Each one that's found represents a chocolate egg.
Which they're going to take out of the fridge later on.
Exactly.
Yes,
That
yes.
would work. But
I'm
yeah.
really glad I came here today. It's been very helpful.
But yeah, Easter egg treasure hunts and everything. Like I remember my nan was really good at doing treasure hunts, and the clues would rhyme and take you to. Normally we did it in her house actually, and it would take you to different places in the house, and you'd really have to think. They were great clues, it would make you think. Okay, by the stairs, a plant pot. There it is. It was really clever. So they're great fun. That's definitely something.
A little
to do
bit
at
of
Easter.
some time needs to go into making that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of thought, but well worth it, definitely. So, have any of you ever had a meal where you've pulled a cracker at Easter?
No.
Easter,
No. No, I've never. Or put a wreath on the door?
No.
No.
Are people doing that? Is that?
What about it? So in the Daily Mail, so it must be true.
Wow.
I haven't seen anybody doing it.
No, I haven't.
And I think my whole idea of pulling a cracker doesn't involve pulling anything that's got this of paper that you put in your hands. But, you never know your luck.
Something else too. Yeah, exactly. I like it. And what about decorating a tree, an Easter tree? I've never heard of that.
No.
Silly. We've had a a message saying acquired a 6-year-old child ? Maybe you should explain that. If that's okay.
Oh my gosh, it's a long story that involves love children, immigration, all the political things. I don't think this is the time and the moment to go into it, but the responsibility is now ours of this child. Yes, it's lovely.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Lovely. It's a nice story. Well, it's ended up being a nice story. Yes. Lovely. There's another article here about, so Heinz have come up with, so they make mayonnaise, Heinz, and they've come up with seriously good hot cross bun mayo. So there's an article in the paper that talks about this. So it's made from mayonnaise and actual bits of toasted hot cross buns, fruit and sweet cinnamon.
Sounds disgusting.
Doesn't it sound vile?
But they've got, have you seen the M&S hot cross buns on the telly? They've got cheesy hot cross buns.
That's what they say here, yeah.
Oh, no. I think,
don't ruin it.
Don't even fancy chocolate hot cross buns.
No, just as it is with butter, toasted.
Yes.
Gorgeous. Don't
Traditional,
mess with it. Yeah.
old-fashioned, good old hot cross buns.
Don't break what's not needed to be fixed.
Exactly.
Don't fix what's not broken. That's the phrase. There's something out there, it works. We like hot cross buns. End of.
We absolutely do. I mean, the cinnamon,
Toasted.
the fruit.
Roger likes them toasted.
Yes, they've got to be toasted.
Oh, they've got to be toasted.
Definitely. Toasted
Melted
with butter that
butter.
melts. Yeah. Oh, have you got some at home?
No, I need to get some.
Yeah.
We bought some a couple of weeks ago because they were going cheap. So we had them a couple of weeks ago. So I sort of feel like we've had our fix now. But I'm thinking, maybe we should get some more.
Definitely.
Can you get them in the regular Spanish supermarkets, or we have to go to the Iceland or the British
yeah.
supermarkets? Yeah.
Marks and Spencer's probably have some.
Oh, probably, yeah. Mobile phones. They have revolutionised our lives. 50 years on, this journalist says, some days I wish mobiles had never been invented. This week is the 50th anniversary of the personal cell phone. It has won the battle for our hearts, minds and ever-decreasing attention spans. How do we feel about mobile phones? We didn't have them growing up. It's very easy to kind of look back and kind of be nostalgic about how lovely and fun it was not having mobile phones, but we rely on them now, don't we?
Absolutely.
We do. Our whole lives are in them. But I have to say, when I was in Italy with my cousin, I did a zip lining thing and I lost my phone out of my pocket and it fell into the lake.
Oh,
I know. And I took it into the phone shop and he did mend it, but I was 5 days without a mobile phone. And I have to say, it was quite nice.
Oh,
Love it.
oh, lovely.
It was.
Good for you.
But then on the other hand, I was awfully glad to get it back.
Yeah.
Our whole lives are in there. You know, you can't phone anybody. You don't know anybody's number. It's all in your phone.
Did you have a cold
weird.
turkey period as well, where you had to sort of wean yourself off it and get used to the idea you were without a phone before you could enjoy it?
Yeah, there was a definite panic feeling. I was like, what am I doing? What am I going to do with my thumbs? But I soon got used to it. My cousin had hers, so I could Google and whatever. But nobody called me. But they all knew I was in Italy, so
yeah.
Do you remember your first phone? Do you remember getting your first mobile phone?
Yes, it was really, really heavy.
Yeah,
It was.
It was like a brick.
The brick.
Yeah, big bricks. I think it's weird how. I mean, I can't imagine. I love the fact that if we're going to meet someone and we're going to be late, because I don't like being late, so I'm always paranoid about just so people know I'm all right or that everything's okay. Just send a message, terrible traffic, be there in 5 or whatever. To not be able to do that, I'm trying to remember. Like, if you were meeting someone somewhere, you couldn't contact them. If somebody didn't turn up, they just didn't turn up. And I remember kind of standing there thinking, well, how long do we give them? How long do you wait? Are they standing me up, or are they in an accident? Or, your kind of brain goes, and it can take a while before you find out. Because if you go home and call them, they might not be home. And
I know. and if you break down, I mean...
Yeah.
It's brilliant to have a mobile phone because you can call the grower and get yourself sorted out.
Yeah.
The thing I like best is the camera. I mean,
yes. Definitely.
You're a bit of a selfie queen.
Photograph of anything, can't you?
Yeah.
Any details, any code
It's so
numbers,
good.
everything.
So good taking pictures. Yeah, I love it. I used to love my camera, but unless you're doing a specific thing where you want a big decent camera, because I've still got my camera, but to be honest, I haven't used it for such a long time.
My camera's brilliant.
It's so good, isn't it? You don't need a camera. It's brilliant. Use it all the time.
Going back to what you were just saying about being late there, it has triggered a bit of a guilty story. I remember when I was a teenager going to the train station. So I'm the opposite of you, Hannah. I'm always late. I'm the one that leaves everyone waiting, and leaving my best friend waiting for me for about an hour at the big train station. And then I had this genius idea of turning up. And then when I saw her, I was like, where have you been? And she was like, where have you been? And then I just made out that I'd been walking around the train station the whole time, and that we must have just crossed paths the whole time, and I was convinced that I'd got away with it. She didn't believe me for a second.
She knew you. She knew you were old.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, I can't imagine being without a phone. I love the idea of having a bit of a detox and things. A friend of mine quite recently said that she'd decided that between her and her husband, they were going to not use their phones after 6 o'clock at night. And I think that's a really great idea. You know, they use their phones for business, for social media and things. But after 6 o'clock at night, they don't look at their phones. So they'll watch telly, they'll spend time with their daughter, and they go to bed and don't look at their phones. I love that. I think I'd struggle though. I would.
You'd have to. Yeah, it'd require some discipline, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm happy we have phones.
It's definitely added. It's definitely added to our lives. It's definitely a plus.
When you look round in restaurants and everybody's on their phone while they're sitting at the table.
I know. I hate that. But since COVID, so many restaurant menus are on the phone. Yeah. So whenever my husband and I are out having dinner and we're both on our phones looking at the menu, I'm like, people are going to think we've got nothing to say to each other. People are going to think we're like bored of each other's company. I feel like announcing to everyone in the restaurant, we're just looking at the menu. Everything's fine here. We're just checking the menu. Right, let's take a break there before we talk about e-scooters.
Hannah Murray on TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Women Talk. Excuse me. With me in the studio today, Carmel Rogers, Anna Glowinski and Jan Humpage. We've had a couple of messages in. This one from Teresa. She says, shops like Tiger are full of Easter decorations in their Spanish stores. My mother used to do loads of treasure hunts with clues for my son. Trouble was she could never decipher them when he couldn't. Short-term memory loss. Oh dear. And Gary says, mobile phones have destroyed conversation. Things in doubt are Googled, not left up in the air. Children have no imagination, i.e. the joys of a cardboard box, and photos, the anticipation of waiting for photos to be developed. Sad. Yes, I remember that. I was always known for photographs when I was travelling and living abroad and things before Spain, and always used to take loads and loads of photos. There was anticipation, but then there was always disappointment when you got the photos developed and the one you really wanted was blurred or someone had walked in the way of it. So I actually am much happier now being able to take a photo, oh no, that's not right, and take a photo again. So I actually think that's better.
It is in a way, but I do miss having an actual physical piece of paper to look at as a photo. But then you can always get them printed off.
You can.
Yeah, if you like a particularly nice one.
How many people have loads of photos? How often do you look at your photos?
True.
We've been going through so many photos in this past year and working out what to keep and what not to keep. You can end up with, so many, like hundreds and thousands of photos. And unless you're going to look at them all the time...
It's true. I've got a lot from my cruising days when I used to work on the ship. And there's some, I don't even remember what country it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right.
What I think is really nice about digital photos and mobile phones as well is the memories that come up, whether it's Facebook, Google.
Yeah.
Most of these apps come up with memories. This day, 8 years ago, you were... and it shows these photos, exactly like what you're saying, where you'd maybe keep them on a shelf in a dusty corner and not look at them. Yeah. It brings them to the forefront. I find it really fun.
You might have been pulling a cracker that you'd forgotten about.
Hopefully no one was taking a photo at the time.
Exactly. E-scooters, right, we're talking about e-scooters. There's an article here talking about how many lives have been taken by e-scooters. 31 lives in the UK in 4 years and injured thousands with an average age of 12. Now Paris votes to ban them. When will Britain end the plague of e-scooters? Ooh. Now I don't know where e-scooters are supposed to go, because I don't think they should be on the road, but they also can be a nuisance on the pavement when they're kind of weaving in and out groups of people. So I don't kind of get...
I don't know. You see them on the road, and the police go past and don't say anything, and yet they tear up and down the paseo, and they, I've got a dog. If I'm walking on the paseo, I've got the dog on a lead, and they don't seem to care or slow down. It's a bit frightening, really.
I think that's exactly the problem, isn't it? That's why the debate's coming in, because they're such a new thing. There is no delegated space for them. No one actually knows. It's not just you, Hannah. There is actually no space for them.
And because they're very quiet as well, you don't know that they're coming up behind you.
Definitely. And, there are obviously cycle paths in some places, but even in towns that I'm aware of that have cycle paths, they don't go around the whole town. They're just little areas. If you wanted to go around town in your scooter, you couldn't stick to a cycle path the whole time because they don't
or get
continue
to exactly where you want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So anything that gets people out of cars is a bonus in my eyes. Yeah, I think I'd like to see a world where we learn how we're going to use the e-scooters and where they fit in, because it gives young people a bit more freedom and independence.
Fresh air.
Fresh air gets people out of cars, but
we need to make room for them, don't we? I think
maybe we do.
Yeah.
I think even on an ordinary road, they should have a little area that they can sort of put
Yeah. Problem is, it all costs so much money, doesn't it? That's what I mean.
To paint it.
But everywhere. It's like a massive job, isn't it?
And theoretically, I think they're supposed to be speed capped as well. So I think what people can do is modify them, and they end up going way faster than they're supposed to be able to go. But maybe if they can have a limited speed, if they're going to be on a shared with pedestrian space or something like that. Watch this space, I think.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So there's a piece here talking about gender-neutral toilets. This journalist wrote the article saying she had a deeply distressing incident in a theatre. It was the Lyric in London's Hammersmith. She said she went to go to the toilet and there was a sign up saying, "Loos, all genders welcome." She said she hadn't used an all-genders loo before, one which, unlike on trains or planes, both men and women can use at the same time. She said, "The thought made me feel distinctly uncomfortable, and when I pushed open the door, I froze. On my left were 5 urinals, and at the far end, the door, just a couple of feet away from the row of urinals, was a lone cubicle. The space was empty, but it was clear that to use the cubicle, women were expected to walk past a row of men peeing. With time ticking on, I didn't have a choice, but before I leave, a man came in to use the facilities. We stared at each other in equal horror. He clearly felt as uncomfortable as I did." She posted a photograph on social media and got a lot of attention, basically. The first thing that struck me was one toilet for the women, which I thought was a really bad move, because everybody knows if they've been to a theatre or a concert, the queue for the women's toilet is far longer than the queue for the men. So having 5 places for men to pee and only 1 for a woman, well, that's a bad mistake straight away.
Yeah, I've actually been to the Lyric in Hammersmith, and there is always a queue for every theatre. There's a queue for women's toilets because there's only 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
and the men's, there's usually a trough. Or they're all lined up, the urinals, that's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I quite welcome it, because I think at least we'd have fair crack and be able to get in there.
So you wouldn't be bothered about sharing the toilet?
No.
When you got to go, you got to go. Anything reduces the queue.
You know what a man looks like having a pee. It's not really, it's not that shocking to me. You might pull a cracker.
Brilliant. I love the way you look at it. Jan, what
do you think they could put some sort of screen up, perhaps, that the men feel more comfortable?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
But I was just telling a story about, we had a friend who was transgender, and he was working for a tax office, and he went to the ladies' toilets. He was in the process of becoming a woman, and somebody complained, and it got into the Sunday newspapers, and he was almost suicidal. It was just so upsetting
gosh.
for him. I mean, he now is a woman, but, and it just seems so sad, doesn't it?
It does.
Some people are very small-minded about things like that, I think.
Yeah. It's very, very difficult, the transgender issue when it comes to toilets and everything. It's very, very difficult because, in so many people's eyes, there's women and there's men. What's the argument? What's the discussion? But, transgender people who are going through the change to go from one sex to another, where are they supposed to go to the toilet? What is the argument? What's the solution, rather?
It's probably improved now. I don't know.
Well, I don't think so. It comes up a lot on this programme. There's articles about it like every week. Absolutely. People feel really uncomfortable about it. Yeah. I mean, what you're saying, Carmel, in the fact there's no reason to be uncomfortable, there, in one way there isn't a reason to be uncomfortable, but of course you'll always have people who, sadly, will go out of their way to make people feel uncomfortable. Yes,
and also maybe young women walking past, like a teenager, perhaps walking past a row of men.
A row of older men.
Would be a bit disturbing for both. But I don't know. I just think, well,
you probably would get
the
used
toilets
to it.
now that are gender free, if you like. There's still cubicles, but anybody can use any cubicle. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Do they ever miss the urinal? Because Roger always says the toilets in men's, the floor's always covered in pee.
Oh, no.
Yes, well, we all know that. I can't aim straight at something.
Yeah, well, that's why it's horrible to be sharing, isn't it? That was something I was thinking of, to be honest.
At least we haven't got to sit on a urinal.
Thankfully not, no. But we have got to sit on the only, in that incident, in that theatre, the only toilet that men can use if they want to
that's true.
do something else. I don't know. My biggest problem with that, to be honest, is the one toilet for women.
Yes,
I think
that
is ridiculous.
That's
not good enough.
More toilet attendants.
More toilet facilities.
It's another job for somebody, and we'll
exactly. Yes, toilet attendants. I think toilet attendants are a really good thing.
Yeah.
But again, I bet sadly they get abused a lot of the time, probably in nightclubs with drunk people and.
Yeah,
there has been incidences, hasn't there?
Give them danger money.
Yeah, absolutely. Give them danger money. We'll take a break there before we come back and talk about filters.
TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're listening to Women Talk with me in the studio today, Carmel Rogers, Anna Glowinski and Jan Humpage. If you're listening at home and you'd like to get involved, here's how.
To contact TRE, please call 952 78 4000. Email studio@tre.radio. Send us a WhatsApp on +34 645 99 67 95.
What a beautiful day. It's a wonderful life.
Okay, there's an interesting article here about filters, the new TikTok filter particularly. So the journalist who's written the article says, why the new TikTok filter that turned me from this to this, and there's 2 photos, risks stealing the self-esteem and sanity of a generation. So there's 2 young girls, a 17-year-old and a 21-year-old. Gosh, she looks about 14. I can't believe she's 21. Photos of themselves who have used this filter, and it's made them look like a completely different person. So not only does the filter get rid of any spots or blemishes or discoloration on the skin, it gives you a full face of makeup as well. Like it's given her blusher, lipstick, eyeshadow, given her thicker brows. I mean, the whole thing, it really is quite incredible. My first thought is, what's the name of this filter? I need to download this one pronto. But yeah, there is a serious side to this, I think. It really is. If we're looking at people online, following celebrities or whatever, and looking at people's faces and thinking, gosh, they've got such amazing skin, and how are they in their whatever age, and they've got no wrinkles, they look amazing, without knowing that they're using filters. So I do get that there's a real kind of negative side to this.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, as you say, it would be fun to have it, to play with it, to make yourself look gorgeous.
Yeah. Cover
up a few wrinkles. But yes, and also I think, these young girls, they're so worried about what they're looking like, and they're exposed all the time to magazines where everyone is super thin, super gorgeous, no spots, and they're trying to make themselves like that, and the pressure is too much, and there's a lot of suicides from this. Exactly. Because they don't feel that they can compete, and that's very sad.
Definitely.
I mean, to use it as a bit of fun would be good, but I think it's not very healthy.
No. I also think if celebrities or famous people, anyone to be honest, online are posting pictures of themselves and using a filter, I think they should say #filter, or they should say that they're using a filter.
Or before and after.
Yeah, in the same way that you have to say that it's an ad if you're promoting something and you're getting paid for it, as opposed to saying, oh, this is the best shampoo ever. If you're being paid for it, you have to say that it's an advert. I think people should have to say if it's a filter.
What if they've got makeup on? Would they have to say they've got makeup on?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
So where's the line? If it's like digital makeup or real life makeup?
Because most people would put makeup on before putting a photo online, but with this, it's digital. I mean, it's changed the shape of her face and everything.
I struggle to see it as a new problem. I think it's just a new technology or a new way of changing the way that we look or enhancing the way that we look. Makeup's been around forever. Image pressure has been around literally forever in every culture imaginable. I think it's a shame, but I also don't think it's any different it is different because it's a different technology, but I don't necessarily think the pressure of that is different for anything, because they're still going to have to go out in real life. You'll still be able to differentiate that's a face of someone in screen, and then walk down the street and realise that you don't actually see anybody who looks like that in real life. And they're still going to have to meet people in real life. And people are going to have to see their face. People will know what they look like
that's true.
Eventually.
Yeah, you're right, really, I
think if it's been altered, they should have to label it.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is... I see what you're saying, Anna, about the issue has been around forever, definitely. But I think with the invent of social media and youngsters having a platform online and posting photographs of themselves and all that kind of thing, that, obviously hasn't been around for forever. And I think it's added a lot of pressure for young people in terms of how they look, because people are looking at how you look all the time in a way that before social media you weren't. It was just photos that were that you'd have to go to the shop and get printed off, and the only people who would see your photos are friends and family who came to the house who you'd show the photos to. But now everybody sees everything because everything's posted on social media, and I know a lot of youngsters feel the pressure if they don't, they'd be the only one that hasn't got an Instagram account or a Facebook account. Everybody kind of has to follow in this pattern, and it must be really difficult for young girls and guys, but I think girls particularly, when people are commenting on the way they look in either a positive or a negative way.
Yeah, and a lot of it is negative. That's the trouble, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I remember it made me think of my brother and some of his mean friends when we were all teenagers, and them talking about some girls that were caked in makeup, and they're like, oh yeah, she looks well fit, but saying she looks like that now, but how would she maybe look tomorrow morning when she wakes up and takes it all off, and so you can. There's this idea that you can present an image, but eventually people will end up knowing what you actually look like. That's what it's made me think of.
If people are kind of projecting a fake image too much online, then if and when people do see how they really look, I think people would be quite shocked. I mean, every so often when there are certain celebrities who do post a photograph of themselves or a video of themselves without makeup, sometimes I find myself going, oh gosh, is that what they really look like? I didn't
like a normal person.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're so used to seeing them in makeup and with their hair perfect, and when you see them in their home environment, if they're uploading a video of themselves cooking with their baby on one arm or something, and you kind of go, oh wow, okay, I may not have even recognised them if I walk past them in the street, because you just...
some horrible cameraman's caught them getting out of a taxi. You get the cellulite and the shopping bags, and that's really mean, I think.
Did you see that Trump supporter on television, the lady? And she just looked like one of the, the men that get dressed up as women. What do you call
drag
it?
queen?
Like a drag queen.
Yeah.
She was absolutely horrendous. Her makeup was so perfect. And
I didn't see. I'll have to have
She
a
was
look.
just too perfect.
Yeah. There's a piece here where the headline reads, "I live in the middle of nowhere, so why do I still dress like I'm off to the opera? One midlife woman's refusal to give up the exuberant style that defined her youth." I love this. She said, "Recently I bought a sparkly jumpsuit to wear with platform heels. I've also purchased in the past month a pair of scarlet clogs, a black lace cocktail dress and a floral maxi skirt for my tropical evenings on the piazza. My wardrobe is stuffed with garments very well suited to a New York gala or premiere in Cannes, which is a problem since I live in remotest rural Argyll in Western Scotland and I'm much more likely to spend my evenings out at the village hall quiz night." Nothing wrong with a quiz night.
what makes you happy, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't that brilliant though? I kind of think
she's
wow.
the belle of the quiz night.
Yes, probably.
Probably the sheep really appreciate it as well.
Yeah.
All she needs to do is slap on a great filter and her online profile will go through the roof.
But I think it's an interesting subject with what we wear and things, and I'm a firm believer in the most part, that people should wear whatever they like, whatever makes them feel comfortable, whatever makes them feel good about themselves. I hate to have ever been, and I'm sure if we're honest, we may have all done it at some point or another, but I think it's awful, the idea of looking at someone thinking, God, you seen what she's wearing, And I hate that, because I kind of think, well, who cares what she's wearing?
Exactly.
She's happy, and if she's confident, good for her.
It's like me wearing my Birkenstocks, never wearing heels.
Yes, brilliant. It's what you like, it's what makes you feel like.
My feet are comfortable, and that's it.
I've thrown out all my heels as well. I just don't know how I did it before.
No.
Look back at myself and go, why would I put myself through that? But like you say, if you want to, if you can handle heels, fair play.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a jeans and leggings girl, I have to say, but I do like to get dressed up every now and again if I'm going out to something special.
Yeah.
But but you should be able to wear whatever you like.
Yeah.
Be comfortable.
It's nice individuality as well. People, and I think maybe we appreciate it more in general the older we get. The fact that if you've got friends that, or maybe that person yourself who wears kind of bright, colourful clothes or outrageous clothes or whatever, and the person that everyone always says, "Oh, you look fabulous," love your top or love your dress, or people that just kind of stand out, as opposed to always wearing the blacks, the beiges, the kind of neutral colours that are fine. Actually putting some colour on and kind of embracing. There's so much colour in this room, it's fabulous. You do it with your hair, Carmen.
I do.
You? I love it. Love your hair.
Thank you.
Okay, we better take the last ad break.
Hannah Murray. TRE in the afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're listening to the last part of today's Women Talk. With me in the studio today, Carmel Rogers, Anna Glowinski and Jan Humpage. The way to a woman's heart. Enunciate your letter T's. It says, forget candlelit dinners and romantic weekend breaks. The way to a woman's heart for any lovesick man is much simpler. Enunciate the letter T. Research by psychologists in the US shows women are much more interested in forming long-term relationships with English-speaking men if they pronounce the letter T properly in words such as boat, boot, bolt or butt. Those who don't are much likely to be seen as much less likely to be seen as a potential partner for life. So if people say boat, boot, bait or butt, basically instead of pronouncing the T. I totally disagree.
Do you?
Yeah.
You don't think it matters?
Well, no, I mean it's an accent, isn't it? It's where you live.
It's where you live. Yeah.
And I'm from London and have loads of family who talk like that, and I like it. I like a kind of Cockney accent, definitely.
But I suppose a Cockney accent. Yeah, but I do like somebody that speaks properly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And spells.
Yes. Yes, yes, I'd prefer
I find,
that.
I think if they come across as a bit thick,
yes, not
interested.
No, I know what you mean. Yes, you can talk like that, but still have intelligence, as opposed to I know what you mean.
I'm struggling to have an opinion here. I'm thinking through ex-boyfriends or people that I fancied. Have they pronounced their T's? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, don't I?
Yeah, I think it's definitely to do with where you come from.
Yeah.
Definitely, because different accents all over the country, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not bothered, apart from Carmel.
I'm just trying to think of a northern accent. They still pronounce their T's.
Yes.
And a Brummie accent. And I don't think it is accent. I think it's only the London Cockneys. And I'm actually born within the sound of Bow Bells, so I should be the one that's not sounding her T's. But
you do.
Well, I hope so.
Yes.
I try to.
You're an actress,
Well,
darling.
you haven't got a broad London accent.
Exactly.
Yes. They say you never lose it, don't they? People say to me, you've been in Spain 40 years, but you've still got your English accent. Well, I'm not going to start talking like Manuel from Fawlty Towers.
No.
Imagine. This is an article that has caused a lot of discussion this week. A Spanish woman, a 68-year-old television actress, has adopted a child through a surrogacy pregnancy in the United States, a practice that is illegal if undertaken in Spain. There are various things to look at here. The fact that she had a child, she had one biological son who died of cancer in 2022 at the age of 27. He had frozen sperm before he died, and she has used the sperm of her dead son to get the, sorry, I'm trying to get the wording right, for the surrogacy pregnancy that happened in the United States. So she sent the sperm of her son. Yeah. So she's basically having, so she's like kind of having a grandchild stroke son kind of thing. But the first thing that struck me about this, so we can discuss kind of the different topics, is that she's 68, which is quite an age to have a baby.
Absolutely.
Do we think she's selfish?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, God, I suppose you'd have to say yes, because she's going to be a very old parent, isn't she? She's not going to be running through the woods and pushing the baby in the
we don't know how long she'll be alive for.
Perhaps she's got somebody that's there as a backup, like a relation that will take.
Doesn't say that, though, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Well, I think if somebody desperately wants a child, then good luck to them. But I think that age, that is an issue, the age with her. And I didn't even know it was illegal in Spain.
No, I didn't until I read that article. It says Spain, along with some other EU countries such as France, Germany and Italy, bans all form of surrogacy.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that. My issue is the age thing.
Yeah, human nature stops you from having babies later, so...
Yeah, so maybe there's something in that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that could be enforced, whether that could be like a law, whether it's right to stop people, whether it's right to kind of say, okay, you are not legally allowed to have a baby or bring or whether it's
I know they used to. I know that they used to have a cut-off age of 40, and
really,
yeah, because my aunt adopted and right at the last minute because she was about to get kicked off the books at 40. But
for adoption.
For adoption,
okay.
But I know that's changed. So talking about the age of what somebody would be allowed to adopt or bring in a surrogate child. I know it's changed, but I don't know to what or whether it's open-ended, up to a 68-year-old and beyond. If someone decides they want to adopt, can they just do it at any age?
We've got a caller on the line. Hello, you're live on TRE.
Oh, hi there. It's Bernie here. I just wanted to say, how on earth could Carmel have been in Spain for 40 years? Did she come over as a newborn baby?
That's very kind. No, I was actually sick. How old was I? I'm trying to think now. I've got to tell the truth. 26 when I came here.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Thank you, Bernie.
Okay.
You got a fan.
I was going to say the only other thing is if you were a grandparent and you lost your grandchild's parents, for any reason, you would want to take that child on, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
So you wouldn't want to be stopped from doing that, would you?
No. It's a tricky one. And how do you feel about her using the sperm of her dead son? Do you think that's really sweet or really weird?
It's quite sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously she wants him to live on.
Yeah.
And he obviously froze it for a reason.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Himself.
I like it. I think that's really nice. But yeah, I don't get the 68-year-old thing. We've had... she announced today that it's a surrogate grandchild, Theresa said. So there we go. So it was all kind of done on purpose.
Okay.
Let's have a look at this one. We've got 5 minutes left. A wag, as in wife and girlfriend of a footballer, sparks violence debate after praising daughter for punching a bully in the face. The wife of a top footballer has ignited a debate over using violence to retaliate against child bullies after praising her teenage daughter for punching one in the face. Bianca Austin, married to former Southampton striker Charlie Austin, told of her pride after her 16-year-old struck the girl following weeks of being called names. She put on Twitter, after numerous phone calls to the school and nothing changing, today when being called names, my daughter finally punched the bully in the face. Proud mum. There was a real mixed response on Twitter with some people saying, good on her, she did exactly what was needed to be done. Shame on the school, though, for not sorting the bullying out when you first called them. Other people saying your daughter should not be hitting anyone, ever. I get that bullying is awful and harmful, but when I said your daughter's actions would make things worse, you can now see where I was going. Bullying someone back by hitting is also bullying. This is a difficult one.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah, I was just saying that the only problem is that if you thump somebody, they could thump you back and be even worse than you're thumping.
Yeah.
It's
Often
not
with a
good.
bully, though, it's the only way. I mean, this is awful, but I was bullied when I was at school, and my parents were very conscious of the fact they had an only child and they were not going to spoil me. And my dad said, "You've got to sort it out yourself and fight your own battles." So I hung this girl on a cloakroom peg. I didn't hit her, but I hung her. But she'd been bullying me and pushing me and not hitting me, but being particularly nasty.
Yeah.
And then the next day, just to reinforce my point, I dipped her plat in an inkwell. There we are, Bernie. That's showing my age. But she never bullied me again.
No.
There you go,
And the
you
school didn't do anything,
No,
and my parents wouldn't do anything, so I had to sort it out myself. But, but I think, it's not right to use violence in any way, shape or form, but
Sometimes
what
it
do you
can-
do?
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on
I
a
think
cloakroom
it's-
peg.
Yeah, I think the world isn't black and white, is it? And I
No.
think it'd be very easy to say violence is never acceptable, ever, ever, ever. It's easy to kind of say that, but in reality, sometimes it can. Yeah, it's a shame that sometimes it's an option, because it would be really nice. I'd love to be able to say that it never should be an option, but in that instance,
Life's not like that.
It's not. It's not. And I think the mum did the right thing going to the school, because that's what you hope would be the right thing to do. Go to the school, ask them to step in. And if they don't, then the child has got to handle it herself.
But then the child often, they're terrified of their parents going to the school because
Yes,
it's going to come out and then it's going to make it worse for them. It's very difficult. Bullying is an awful thing.
Yeah, it really is. And as you say, Jan, if you hit, they could hit back and it could be worse. But very often it does. If it comes out of nowhere and the person isn't normally the person to react or retaliate, when they do,
It's more of a
stops
shock.
it.
Yeah.
It stops
Yeah.
it. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't mess with them then. It often does work, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Okay, we've just got 2 minutes left. We could possibly do another article. Don't let the kids stay up late at weekends, they might get podgy, is the headline here. Children who are allowed to stay up late at weekends as a treat are more likely to become obese. This is because varying bedtimes between school and non-school days affects their body clock and how efficiently they process foods.
Well, they all stay up late in Spain, don't they?
Yes, it's so different. Isn't it amazing?
It's definitely something that we're struggling with, trying to create a strict bedtime. 8:30, which to me from the UK actually feels quite late. But any earlier than that, and all the kids are out playing still. And that actually feels very early over here.
Yeah.
And in the summer holidays, all the kids are out till 11,
midnight.
12, 1 in the morning.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
When my
And
friend
they're not all fat.
I was going to say, there doesn't seem to be an obesity problem going on with these kids, no.
Not at all.
But they're more outside here. They play outside here, whereas in England they tend to sit in on the sofa playing with their Xbox, don't they?
Yeah.
So they may
Hiding
have
from
a
the
point
rain.
there.
Yeah, that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, but I love that in Spain. I really do. But
I enjoy it.
My friend who comes over from the UK with her children, she comes over for the whole summer, and every summer she's like, "There's children out. It's 11:30 at night. He must only be 4. Where are they?" She finds it unbelievable because it's so different in the UK, isn't it?
It's almost shocking to see. I can see where your friend is coming from. You see it and you think, what are you doing there? But I find it really heartwarming.
Yeah.
I love it.
I find it heartwarming, but I do worry about how they concentrate at school the next day
That's what I can't get my head round.
on so little sleep.
Yeah, the siesta, I think, plays a role.
Sorry?
The siesta, I think, plays a
Fiesta.
role.
Yeah, the
the
Spanish
siesta.
schools finish
The
siesta.
siesta. So having a little.
To the end of the show. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Anna. Thank you all for coming on today.
Thanks for having us, Hannah.
Thank you for having us.
You've been listening to a TRE production. If you've enjoyed this programme, there'll be another episode waiting for you next week, right here on this platform, where you can also access our extensive back catalogue of shows and interviews. For more information on our live programming, social media channels and apps, and how to contact Talk Radio Europe, please visit tre.radio.